we started as interns at TV show Saturday Night Live, and we sat in the hallways talking about the audio gear that we wanted to get into. And Tyler had, at the time, was more experienced with that. We're both musicians and we knew each other from playing and going to school together. And then we got a call after having done a live recording. I think I had done the Kenny Werner record, and Dave Douglas was on that record. And I had done all the Logic sampling and the MIDI for that. And Dave called me and said, I got a random idea, can you do a live recording for me? But I want you to mix it that night and upload it the next day. So I said, sure, of course I said yes. But I panicked and said, I gotta call someone because I don't know how this is gonna all work together. So I called Tyler. Well, I just got off the road actually doing front of house and some production work with Dave Douglas, his new band High Risk, which has Mark Juliana, Jonathan Marin, and Shigeto. And so I originally had recorded that record, and then I do like live production pedal stuff for Dave and things like that. So I just got back from that. I have a few of my own bands. One of them is probably the most ridiculous band that exists, known as the Polka Brothers. So I have a polka band that I play with often. But then at SNL, I've been there as the librarian and house copyist, so I'm putting together charts with the band. And I've been doing that for a long time. Also playing a bit for the band when they need someone to fill in on either the saxophones, alto or baritone. And let's see. Oh, and we just wrapped Maya and Marty. Tyler, you did some work for it too. Maya and Marty in New York. I was playing with that band as well a lot, and doing the copyist stuff and all that kind of thing. So really like a very varied list of things that are always popping up.
It's a fun gig for me. It's a bit of a departure from jazz, but it's fun to work with, like, you know, some of the biggest names in pop and rock, and it's great. And I often I will sub for the Fallon show, the Tonight Show, do the broadcast music mix for that show once in a while, which is also a blast. They have a great team. And, that show is much different from SNL because it's not live, and they do one every single day, so it's much more streamlined and you know, a different dynamic, but equally as enjoyable. I also play in an indie rock band called Symphony. We've been together for about 3 years now, and tour the world with them, and I play guitar with them, and it's a great, they call it a Baroque pop band, but it's basically an indie rock band with sort of chamber ensemble elements to it. We have bari sax, trumpet, and violin in the band as well. So that keeps me young, and I think what's important to note too with Geoff and myself is that we have our hands in a lot of things. It's sort of like the New York way, I think, and you know, keeping busy, the hustle, if you will. But it's great because it keeps everything. You don't burn out on anything when you're able to do so many different things. Probably the most important aspect is that you're a sensible human being, and you listen, and you make compromises when they need to be made, and you're likable. That's such a huge deal. Especially here in New York, there's 5 people behind you waiting to do the job you're doing, and people want to be able to work with people who are fun to be with, and so that's such an important part of this business.
There are tools out there. There's podcasts you can listen to. There's one I've been checking out recently, just called Recording Lounge, which is really cool. Just things like that where you can actually hear examples. There's so many resources online that you can go to, and I feel like that's changed even from the 15 years ago when we started. It was that wasn't really all there. So just being able to go to those places and start to learn about compression that way. Start to learn about what does this mic sound versus that mic sound. Like you're saying, I mean, you're prepared for that, so that when the opportunity presents itself. And I think a good example is how we started. We went into jazz standard like we only had what we knew behind us, and we were thrown right into it. It was like, well, let's put this mic here because we know this is going to be this. Let's do this, and hope for the best. Luckily, the computer stayed on, so that's. That I can't. That's the advice I can give to anyone. Computers are terrible.
Know the right buffer setting.
Check your buffer settings.
Yeah. The OCL2, the pendulum, was sort of like the first hardware compressor that I got to really know intimately, and it was recommended to me by Greg Calby, who used one. I think he still uses it, and he said, you know, if you're going to get one piece of gear, start with that. When I acquired the Neves, it was sort of like an aha moment, and you know, they're fantastic to mix with, not just record with, but I use them to mix a lot. I mix through them often, and just learning about how to saturate.
And it's been good too in the aspects of working. We've worked sort of as, I don't know, consultants or assistant engineers or engineers with other, you know, engineers like James Farber or Jim Anderson, and who don't necessarily do a lot of live recording, but they'll call us because they know that our gear is going to be as good as it could be, and then we go in there and do that work with them. And it's nice for them to know that they rely on that gear and they rely on our mic collection and all those things. It's been a really powerful thing for us.